My name is George Armstrong Custer. I served in the Union Army during the Civil War, where I showed myself to be a man of initiative and tactics. I could not only navigate the field of battle, but the field of public opinion. I understood the importance ensuring the support and morale of not only troops, but the civilian populace as well. Though I graduated last in my class from West Point, I proved my prowess in service to my country, rising in the rank to Major General in less than 2 years. You'd do well to find a military mind that could match mine today, and yet I'm better known for my defeat and death than I am for my life and accomplishments. I think it's high time that change. My life began as most do. I was born to Emmanuel Henry Custer and Marie Ward Kirkpatrick in New Rumley, Ohio, on the 5th of December, 1839. I spent most of my childhood in Michigan, living with my half-sister and my brother-in-law. I attended West Point, the prestigious military school, as I said before. I did not always know my lessons, and it didn't much bother me. I distinguished myself from my demerits, usually from pranking my fellow cadets, and I was close to expulsion several times. I was supposed to graduate in 1862, and had that happened, you very likely would never have heard of me. However, the outbreak of the Civil War pushed our class ahead, and I graduated in 1861, so that I and my classmates could join the Union Army. No one had the luxury of assigning me to some obscure post, as might have otherwise happened, and the troublesome boy I was, I grew into, it was May of 1862, and there we were, looking for a crossing point along the Chikaming River, as we were chasing General Joseph Johnson. I happened to overhear my commander mutter to himself, pondering how he wished he knew how deep the river was. Now, it could be that my prankish nature drove me forward, but I like to think that my boyhood pranks were but an expression of something deeper, a drive to succeed by my own terms. So it was I dashed forward on my horse, straight into the middle of that river, calling out to the general that this was how deep the river was. Looking back, I suppose I could have been met any number of ways. I was a bit brash. Had the waters been deep, or the bottom of the river rocky and uneven, myself and my horse could have been injured, or even killed. The general understood, however, what such brashness could do, and he gave me command of 4 companies of the 4th Michigan Infantry. I led those men to successfully capture 50 Confederate soldiers and the first Confederate flag of that war. I soon became one of the youngest generals of the Union Army. On the eve of the Battle of Gettysburg, I was promoted to Brigadier General of the U.S. Volunteers. While my men were put off by my showmanship, I do believe in appearances, my readiness to lead from the front rather than staying in the rear of the battle, that won 'em over. I was often called reckless for how I dashed into combat, but I planned carefully, scouting the battlefield and understanding my enemy's weakness. What appeared to be foolhardy was a strategy that routed my enemy every time. My finest hour was at East Cavalry Field during the Battle of Gettysburg, when my mounted charge of the 1st Michigan Cavalry broke the Confederate assault of Hampton's brigade. While we suffered one of the highest casualties of that battle, I stand behind my decisions, that it was one of the decisive moments of Gettysburg. While Reconstruction following the Civil War had its own challenges, the next major point in the history of our nation was the American Indian Wars. In November of 1868, I led the 7th U.S. Cavalry against the Cheyenne at the Battle of Ouachita River. It was one of the first substantial victories of the Southern Plains War. It and other campaigns helped ensure that I would continue in my career, despite President Grant's dislike of me. The Battle of Little Bighorn was my last battle, and the end of my life. My career truly began at a river, so it was only fitting that a river should play a part in its end. We were terribly outnumbered in the battle. To make matters worse, every time our enemy took down our men, they'd strip them of their weapons. Their advantage only grew as ours continued to shrink, until our final stand on the north end of the ridge. I'd say that I lived a charmed life. My bravery, audacity, and the tenacity helped to ensure Union victory during the Civil War. I was a controversial man, brave and brilliant, but a showman, happy to court the press as well. I might have accused President Grant's brother of corruption and arrested the president's son for drunkenness. I was court-martialed twice over my career and very nearly missed the opportunity for the command that led to my defeat at Little Bighorn. I hope, though, that you know more about me now than just Custer's last stand. In fact, the next time one of your parents is complaining about their boss being a, shall we say, hard rear end, just remember that rather colorful name was first used to describe me.